Miss Jackson. Miss Ja-
How how you how you get a parking space out there to let in?
You know what? I don't think so. If I may have your attention, please. Vaughn, these people are the reason I'm late. Actually, I couldn't find my glasses. Getting old. Y'all will be happy to know that Leroy sent me another joke. Leroy said this gentleman was speeding very, very fast. And the police who was waiting behind the sign, impatient to ticket somebody, caught up with him and said, I've been waiting on a driver like you all day. And the man said, well, I got here as fast as I could. That's two in a row, Leroy. This ain't gonna last long. Don't expect that quality next week. Uh, I want to say a word to Roland Gaines and Rudy Gibbons and Lloyd Cobbs. I hope they've been hooked up by now. They went to Orlando earlier. They're already there, but they're in they're the RV group. I think that stands for recreational vehicles. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're they're watching us from Orlando in one of their Roland send Vaughn some kind of word to let him know that you guys are on. Okay, a word about the oh, before I do that, I see that our illustrious president of the boosters are here. So I want to say a word about the campaign. Before I do that, I'm asking our president of the boosters, Selvin Cobb. Selvin Cobb. I got my act together, Selvin.
Eddie, I'm glad you have your act together. I couldn't believe that you worked for Dr. Humphreys all those years and didn't and don't have it together by now. Eddie, I'm learning. Okay. Hello, everybody. We want to. Eddie started out by giving a shout out to the RV group, And we want to give a shout out to Leela Walker. Uh, hold on for a minute. Again, I said we want to give a special shout out to Leela Walker. Leela is not doing well. She's been hospitalized, so let's send our prayers up for Leela and for a speedy recovery. Um, got a couple things for you. As you know, our women's basketball team and our men's basketball team played in Gainesville this week. We came short in both games, but our first home game is going to be on the 20th. Is that Tuesday? Monday? Monday the 20th. It's at 4 o'clock. The women would start, and this is the agreement that SWAC has with the Pac 10, 12, Pac 12 now, and they're doing home games at with SWAC schools. So the women are going to be playing the University of California, as we said, at 4 o'clock, and the men will play University of Oregon, and that's going to be at 8 o'clock. So we want to make sure that we go out and support our men and women basketball team in large numbers. As it's the men game is going to be broadcast on ESPN Plus. So the more that we can get out and pack the seats, the better we'll look on TV. So I'm going to encourage you all to do that. The bowling team is in Montgomery, Alabama. They got a match there, and that's this weekend. And our back-to-back women's volleyball team is on their way to Texas for the SWAC conference volleyball tournament. Uh, we came in number 3 in the rankings this year, conference rankings. Alabama State came in number 1. They were undefeated. Uh, the Prairie View came in second, and we came in third. Our first match will be between it's the number 3 seed FAMU playing the number 6 is Grambling. So our first match will be, I guess that's Friday. Friday. But the championship match will be held on Sunday at 3 p.m. So we're going to look forward to getting there and watching the championship game at 3 p.m. On Sunday. We are back to back, so I know a lot of teams are shooting at us. So those are my announcements. Mr. Jackson, I don't know if you got anything else for me to add. Okay, all right. Okay. Well, I won't. I won't prolong the moments for Mr. Jackson's reappearance. Everybody that's going to Orlando, be safe. Uh, we and save space in your luggage for the W that we bring it back. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President. Uh, a word about the campaign. I want to bring everyone up to date because I think I had mentioned that we were at $46,000. What I forgot to mention was that foundation charges a fee, and our fee came to $2,000, $2,000 plus. And I complained to our vice president, but she said that's the rule. But that's all right. So we're back to $44,000 now, and $6,000 to go. At least when I walked in the door, we had $6,000 to go. But where's Miss Janice Perkins? Oh, I thought I knew your name. Miss Janice Perkins brought $1,000, so we're up to $45,000. now. 5,000 go. Miss Perkins, thank you very much. She's a true rattler. She's been making some kind of contribution to everything we do since she got here. Now, Boss Man, I thought I misread the zero here. I thought Boss Man had given $4,000, but I see I got I got, I got the period right now, Boss Man. I see it's 400, and Boss Man is giving 200 to the campaign and 200 to Althea Gibson. Let me mention that the Althea Gibson statute account and the women's campaign account is the same account number. So, but we're not counting any money, although we're going to have it until we reach the $50,000 to close out that campaign. And I want to mention again, I want uh, Miss Hadley, you had your hand up. Oh, that's a fee charged by the foundation for putting your money in the foundation. They they charge a fee, and we have to accept it. I mean, it's the foundation, Family Foundation. Mhm. No, we have $125 million in the foundation, and the return on that 125 million is doing a lot of good for the university. It's tough paying it, but we can handle it. We can handle it. No, the no, that's the way all foundations work. All foundations require a fee. Oh, nobody worked for nothing. Okay, I'll move on. Henry Broomfield has put aside his regret of losing so many chess games to me and gave $100. And Roy Moore has added another $100. So this is not going. We're going to wrap this campaign up. I believe within the next few days. I never mentioned that Colonel Joe has pledged 1,000. So well, I'm not worried about the campaign. It'll be over with any day now. What I want to do, and I talked to the Vice President Tiffany Sykes Sunday. I saw her in church. I was in church. I want to mention that. uh, I was in church Sunday. And, I had to tell the story that although I'm a member of Bethel AME, and I for over 30 years, I know I don't go as often as I should. But one Sunday, Jerry went with me. And when they got to the part where they said, "Will all visitors please stand up?" Jerry turned and looked at me. I, she's back there not smiling. She don't like for me to call her name. I also mentioned it at the church, who Jerry was part of the program for the football team. Coach Simmons and a few of the players were there. We didn't know that the athletic director was going to be there, and she didn't know that Coach Simmons was going to be there. But I think she was invited by one of the deacons, and she showed up. And I have a comment from her. Vaughn, you guys ever get together about the tickets? Mm-hmm. But she didn't. I, I told her we needed her here today to bring us up to date on the ticket situation. Couldn't be here, but she was going to try to get a video done with Vaughn. But I'll get back to that later. Um, but Greater Mount Zion Primitive Baptist Church, I have that right. Uh, asked us to come, asked me to come along with Jared. It's Jared's church, and Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church under the leadership, but one of the deacons for this, Mr. Lamb. Would y'all give Mr. Lamb a round of applause, please? Mr. Lamb asked me to come, and I thought he was going to give me a plaque. And I told Jerry, make some room on that wall for the all the plaques I have. But when he called me up, he gave a check for $1,000 for the nutrition program. So thank you, Mr. Lamb, and Greater Mount Zion Baptist Church, and Jerry Jackson, who's waving their hands. Yes, Mr. Lamb is the chair of the deacon board. Thank you. That's what I said. Primitive Baptist Church. Uh, you know how she straightened me out there because when they thanked me for being president of the 220 quarterback club, I said, well, you've seen Dr. Gerald Jackson, so if you think I'm the president, you got another thing coming. Yes, Mr. Lamb. Mr. Rozier, uh, Mr. Rozier, I am sorry. I've been meaning to say something about you for some time. Where's the command sergeant major? On his way to Orlando. Well, we missed his rank, but if Mr. Rozier was in his army uniform, you'd see Master Sergeant stripes. Uh, you were a sergeant major. Sergeant major. I am sorry. You know what are those all those stripes down your sleeve there mean? Years ago. Oh, I knew that. I was in the army. But Mr. Rozier every year puts honors the history of African Americans in our military, and he's done a wonderful job with that every year. What's that program called, Sergeant Major? All right, thank you. Let's have a round of applause for Sergeant Major Rozier. I was a sergeant. I was a major specialist four. That outranks the sergeant majors every time. uh, I don't want to make Jared mad at me, but I'm gonna just say one more thing about her that I told the church on Sunday that I'm very proud of her. She was the first black to become president of the Florida Business Education Association. And when she was a full professor and department chairman in our College of Education, she wrote a big grant that brought the first computers to the College of Education. So she's a bad dude. Yeah. All right, Dr. Gerald Jackson. In fact, I would never would have been vice president if it hadn't been for her because when she became department head, when your wife's making more money than you, it's kind of hard. Tell her, tell her stuff. Because when she got her doctorate, I the next morning I called her. I said Jerry, and she didn't answer. So I knew she heard me, but I got a little closer. I said, hey, JJ. She didn't answer. So I said, Dr. Jackson. She said, may I help you? All right, I'm through. I'm through. I'm through. I'm not. I'm not going back there anymore. Last time I'm going to say that. Uh, I will see our coaches here. Got a big game this week. Coach, I'm going to be in town at the game. No need to call me down after the first half. You know, my phone will be on. Important game. I can't get over this football season. It's just been fantastic. And I didn't think we'd be here again, but we are. So, without further ado, and Jerry is giving me the sit down situation, it is my pleasure to introduce the head coach of the Florida A&M University Rattlers, Coach Willie Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I must say that obviously I've most of my interactions with Ed are here at the 220 Club. We've run into each other a few times at the calf, and I think a couple of times over at Culver's. I think that's one of his favorite burger spots, and we run into each other a few times there. But I've always kind of looked at Ed as a bad man. He gets up here and holds court, and though this is his show, but I was honored and blessed to go over to uh, church Sunday, and I realized Jerry's really the boss. Like Dr. Jackson runs things, and I saw that firsthand at church Sunday, and he just sits over in the corner, doesn't say a word, just she's running things over there at the church. So I appreciate. But no, as always, it's an honor to be here, and as Eddie said, it's a big week for us, and we all know what's in store as far as the Florida Classic, and um, most coaches, most people, if they didn't grow up a Rattler or wasn't around FAMU football, wouldn't understand. But I do because I understand that there's a contingency out there that says, "Cause we don't care what you've done up to this point of the season or what you do after this weekend. You better win that classic." And so, we understand that, and this year's game takes on a little bit of a unique, uh, not twist, but just a difference because this is the first time in our 4 years playing the game. Obviously, been here 5 years, but we didn't play during COVID. But this is our first time playing the game where really it has no implications. First year going into the game, we were playing for a MEAC championship. We win, we're in. Well, unfortunately, we didn't take care of business. Second year, even though we had the self-imposed ban and couldn't claim MEAC champions, we were playing for an undefeated regular season pretty much. And so, we knew we couldn't go to the playoffs or go to the Celebration Bowl, but we really wanted that undefeated season to say, hey, look, even though we're on a self-imposed ban, there's no question we're the best team in black college football. And unfortunately, dropped that one as well. But then fast forward to 21, we were literally playing for a postseason berth. We knew that we had to win that game to get the postseason bid. And of course, we took care of business in convincing fashion. Next day, we were selected to the playoff field. And then last year, much of the same. We knew going into last year's game that we had to win it to have a chance to go to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we won the game, but unfortunately didn't get selected as an at-large. But same thing. We went into the game with that added pressure of not just having to win the classic, but what the ramifications are. So this year's different. What happens Saturday will have no bearing on who hosts the SWAC championship game, who plays in the championship game, none of that. So there's always that word you're talking about pressure. There's always pressure we put on ourselves, but really the only pressure, so to speak, this year is just winning the game. There's nothing more than just win the game. So I think you see a sense a little bit more. We want to be loose all the time, but the guys are a little looser. The coaches are more relaxed. We've grinded this week. We've had 3 really good days of practice. We'll need another one tomorrow, as always. But I think you just see a mature group of guys. Most of the guys understand they've been a part of the game. There are a few who have not, some of our first-year players. But the vast majority of this team has been in the Florida Classic before. So they know the atmosphere is going to be a great atmosphere, great fans, just same thing it always is. And so I'm looking forward to heading down to Orlando. We'll leave tomorrow. We always, last couple of years we've left on Thursday. We usually leave on Fridays before a game, but for the Classic we leave on Thursday afternoon after practice so we can get there, get settled at the hotel, and then be able to kind of relax headed to the luncheon. The first 2 years we left like 6 a.m. to try dressed and had to ride down there with blazers and khakis on to try to get to the luncheon in time. Like, these guys don't like dressing up. So they'll put it on to get on the bus and head over to the facility for the luncheon. But riding, 4 hours with it on wasn't very, very good for them. So we made that change in 21. We felt it worked really well for us, and we'll do that again this year. So we'll get there late Thursday night, get guys snacks and get rested up, and then we'll wake up Friday, get ready for the luncheon, have the luncheon. We'll tour the stadium. We'll take them by Camping World, let the guys walk around the stadium. Not a practice, but just kind of just get a feel for the grass. Um, Camping World's a little unique because it's a football stadium, but they also play pro soccer there too. And so you got to get used to the turf because it is kind of slick, very similar to. She wants to take a question about it. She gonna do it? She gonna do it. Okay, so pause for the moment. Vice President A.D. Sykes is gonna answer some questions about tickets because I know that's a hot topic. So, Boss Lady, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, they can hear you.
Okay, so this is what we've had happen with tickets as recently as like the last hour. Everyone who has investing in Champions membership, your tickets and parking have been placed into your accounts. The seats for investing in Champions, those reserve seats are $55. The parking in Bragg, Bartley, the Welcome Center, and I'm missing a space, I think, is $50. You will have until close of business on Tuesday to pay your invoice. If you do not pay your invoice by close of business on Tuesday, the seats you had during the year, your parking space will be returned to general inventory. That is the early access we are providing for investing in champions. As an investing in champion member, if you want to purchase additional tickets, you can contact the ticket office and also purchase additional tickets during this time. After that time period, everything will be open to the general public for sale. There is a letter that was supposed to go out before this happened, but they put them in your account before the letter went out. I'm still going to send out the letter. Um, the other thing that's important to note, if you have parking in Bragg Stadium, the SWAC has taken 200 spaces out of that lot to fulfill sponsor contracts. So what will happen in Bragg is we will sell Bragg up to the number of spaces that are available, but you will not be in the same space you had before. It will be what we're calling a Bragg scramble. So you will have a pass that gets you admitted to Bragg. You will park in whatever space you get to in Bragg. You will still be able to tailgate and Bragg, but for every space you take up, you will need a parking space. I'm trying to hit the high points. What questions do you have that I can take on the phone?
Questions.
Any
What?
quick questions while we have it? Are they taking the parking spaces in the garage?
The SWAC is not taking parking spaces in the garage. So if you have a garage space, you will be able to renew the space that you have.
North end zone, 80 Sykes.
Okay, so again, this is a postseason event, so I want to make clear that nothing that you had during the regular season can be utilized for this SWAC championship event. We are essentially providing a venue and some support, but this is a SWAC event. There will be really three tents that are going to be in the north end zone. One is for GM, one is for I believe Pepsi, and the other will be essentially what we've operated as the north end zone, but the foundation will be selling day passes. So your north end zone passes from the year will not be valid. They will be offering them for sale for the day of the event. But it's going to be a reduced capacity because we have to allow the SWAC to fulfill all of their sponsor obligations.
When will tickets go on sale for season ticket holders?
They will go on sale Wednesday at noon to anyone who is not invested in champions. We will also be selling tailgate spots on the Patty Foot Lawn for $300. That site is already up and available for purchase. RV lot spaces at Ardelia are $350. RV spots in front of Poking Horn are $450.
So the 3 parking spaces that I had during the season, I will not be able to. Now, if I buy 3, they could be in 3 different locations.
Well, if you purchase 3, I would suggest that if you're doing 3 cars, you pull in together if you want to park it. There will be no numbers assigned to the spaces in Bragg.
We would have to find 3 spaces next to each other and get them in. Okay.
What time will the stadium lot be open that day?
I will need to confirm with a company on when they'll have that open. The SWAC does not allow us to open gates to the actual stadium until 90 minutes before. So that is much shorter than we're accustomed to, but that is the actual gate opening to the stadium. I will find out when parking lots open and let you all know. We got a couple weeks, but as soon as I get the information, I'll make sure you get it.
Wednesday at noon. Or investing in champions can purchase today.
Investing in champions, you can purchase additional tickets today. So the box office is anticipating already that some of you will likely leave 220 and go straight to the box office. So they are prepared to do this. Again, I thought this was going to happen in a different order. I got the information that Ticketmaster put them in your accounts while I was on a panel. And so Vaughn sent me a message and I called him as soon as I got done. So I'm trying to give you as much as I can, as quickly as I can, but still happy to take more questions.
Whatever the number of tickets we had in our account, that will be in our account.
It's in your account now. Yeah. Outside of investing in champions. So if they have other tickets outside of investing in champions, their investing in champions is on their account. They need to just purchase the other tickets.
Correct.
Okay.
During homecoming, the game ended about 7:30, and those of us that were tailgating outside, policemen came around and said, at 10 o'clock, good night. Are we closing up early now? Because we used to stay out there till 12, 1 o'clock.
Okay, he's talking about post game. He said that police kind of shut down tailgating after the game where they were used to staying. Is that going to be in effect for this game?
That time has been determined by our university police. So I will find out what time they have determined for this event, and I'll pass it along to you. That was not, I'm not involved in that decision at all.
Okay.
What about the entrance to the parking lot where there's a gym, which give me same as regular game day?
You talking about which way you come in?
To the parking lot, right?
The directions of the traffic flow will be the same, correct?
Correct. It will be the same traffic flow.
Any other questions for AD Sykes?
Switching gears, when will the basketball season tickets be on sale?
Okay, switching gears, asking about when will basketball season tickets be on sale?
So if you purchase a season ticket, which I hope you will do, they are already on sale. Now, the thing I did this year with season tickets is historically, if you purchased a season ticket, that only covered conference games. I've included non-conference games in your season ticket package. So if you purchase a season ticket, you'll be able to utilize that package as early as next Monday for our doubleheader where our women play Cal at 4 and then the men play Oregon at 8. There's a big gap because of the television needing time to set up to do the broadcast. Individual game tickets, it's my understanding that the ticket office is still building them out, but the single game ticket for the Cal and Oregon doubleheader is available now, but single game tickets for anything beyond that have not been built out in the Ticketmaster system.
She said Tuesday, and then they're gonna sell to the general public Wednesday at noon.
Correct.
Tuesday is the 21st.
And also, the university is closed that Wednesday, so the ticket sales on Wednesday will be online, available online, and then the box office will reopen after the holiday.
Make sure I got it right. No scramble. It's not where.
Yeah, because it's a SWAC game. It's not our home game, so we have to abide by what the SWAC rules are.
Right, so and I'm gonna let you
If you
finish your
bu-
question, but so what's gonna happen behind the north end zone? So behind our beautiful new scoreboard, there's gonna be a stage set up for GM activation. There's gonna be a stage set up for Home Depot. There's gonna be multiple stages set up for activations for the sponsors, and then we also have to provide parking for SWAC dignitaries. So we are unable to provide the same level of spaces. Also, I'll make note that the only way you will be able to move from one side of the stadium to the other is on the north side, because the SWAC has said that the south end is a no pass through zone because they do not want the public interacting with the student athlete access point.
My question is $55 for investor champion tickets. What's the general admission cost?
The general admission, give me 1 second. So it's $55 if for all reserved seats now. Day of game, if reserved seats are still available, they will be $60. General admission advance tickets are $45. General admission day of game will be $50.
Basketball season ticket prices.
I don't know.
Okay, AD Sykes, thank you so much. This call.
I do know that if you are investing in champions and you add on basketball season tickets, it is less expensive than for a non-investor. So that is an additional benefit. If you're investing in champions, you have a discounted add-on to your package.
Okay, thank you so much. We needed that. Coach, I don't often interrupt you, but
That's for the boss. All right. So I think everyone's squared away with championship game. Because everybody want to be Tommy Mitchell today, I guess. So we'll get back to the classic, which is coming up this weekend. But no, last week's game was a fun game. Got to play a lot of guys. Of course, Junior Muratovic got his first start in 2 years, and some other guys as well. So it was a good way to kind of transition into the classic, rest some guys, play some guys that hadn't played, and pitch a shutout at home for senior day, which was good to send those guys out with a shutout. So excited about that. But we're on to the classic now, and looking forward to a great weekend. So of course we'll open the floor for some questions, and we'll. So as far as depth chart movement, no, we didn't see anything that would move a guy ahead of someone else on the depth chart. I mean, this is game 11 for us, so the guys that are starting for us, I mean, they've earned that. They're going to start this weekend. What it's done though is giving us, for lack of better terms, some confidence in some guys who have not played a whole lot this year. So in the event that, say, Junior has to go into a game now, I feel a lot more confident because he actually did get to play in the entire game. Same thing with some of the other guys. So no, I don't think it would have been a situation where, say, Junior could have gone in and beat out. I'm just using that as an example, but he could have gone 20 for 20 for 400 yards, and he wasn't going to start this week again in the classic. So, but, but no, but it was good to get those guys some valuable game reps so that we can evaluate them in game as opposed to practice. So we feel like we were already pretty deep, but Now even deeper because we did get some guys some quality reps. Yes, sir. Well, so the scuffle at the end, the only guy that got ejected was their player. He was the one that started the altercation. Our guy got a personal foul. Don't know why. He was just laying there. Um, he, he didn't do much. He didn't resist. He just kind of he did. I mean, I was proud of him. He did exactly what we coached him to do. He didn't retaliate. So um, and then the players then they one of their players got a personal foul for coming off the bench and coming over, and so our guys were pretty disciplined as far as just staying. And we talked to them at halftime. Hey, anything that happens this half can roll over to next week, and we don't need that. So I'm proud of the guys for being mature enough to watch one of their brothers get manhandled and watch the official literally back away while it was happening. It was that was a first. I like, well, ref, you're not gonna break it up. Then who's supposed to? Yeah, that was wild. So obviously TJ Lee was out. We held him, and Cesar Reyes started the game at center. He did have a few errant snaps. One egregious snap, the one that rolled back in the first drive. We did have a few that were a little low, a little left or right, and then we TJ Demas finished the game at center, and his snaps were pretty consistent. So yeah, Caesar had a few errant snaps there. They weren't all bad, but enough to definitely make note of it. So, but yeah, we anticipate TJ Lee being back this week, and then we still have TJ Demas as a backup. Caesar had played really well the week before, so I think just mentally maybe wasn't as sharp as he probably needed to be because of the opponent. But he's played in games for us, played solid reps for us. So again, any event that he needs to go in at center, we will still be able to function and operate. So I don't anticipate snaps being a problem moving forward. Colonel Joe? Yeah, so we had some pre-snap penalties there, particularly going in, and that was disappointing. And again, we talked to those guys. Hey, some of you guys are going to have an opportunity to get in and play, and this is your chance to show us that we can trust you, that you can play. And so some took full advantage of it. A couple didn't. When you have kind of lapses in judgment, we hadn't had a big problem with pre-snap penalties in some weeks. We had kind of rectified those issues, and so I just I attribute it to younger guys that hadn't played a whole lot playing in the game, and also probably just not as locked in because of the opponent. It was a winless team, smaller opponent. So I think they didn't have that killer mosquito with an axe mentality that they needed. So, but as a team, we understand, and we really made a point of emphasis Sunday in our team meeting. You know, every year we've gone into the classic, we've gone in as the higher ranked team. We've gone in as the team on paper that's better. Statistically, we were better. First 2 years, we lost a turnover margin by six. We turned the ball over six more times than we got. Third down conversion percentage, we were the best in the conference going into the game. We were atrocious in that game. They were one of the worst in the conference going into the game. They ended up over 50% both games. And so the attention to detail that it takes to win those type of games is of the utmost importance. And that's what we stress to those guys on Sunday. So you go into a game like that, you don't want to have a whole lot of pre-snap or post-whistle penalties because pre-snap penalties obviously move the ball backwards. It's harder to convert a first down when you're first and 15. It's obviously a post-whistle penalty means the play's over. Whatever happens, they get 15 extra yards. So if it's third down, we get a sack, but we get up and we get excessive celebration, that's an automatic first down for them. So we give them another opportunity. So you don't want to do that in these type of games. The margin for error shrinks tremendously in a class, not a classic, but in a rivalry. And so we got to make sure that we're playing smart, that we're playing disciplined, that we're doing the little things right to give ourselves the best chance to have the type of game that we've had the last 2 years when it hasn't been close. Because when a team that's favorite goes in and makes mistakes and doesn't focus and lock in, you have close losses like we had the first 2 years. A team that's heavily favored goes in and doesn't make those same mistakes, you have two blowouts like we've had the last 2 years. And so for us, if we play the game that we're capable of playing, don't turn the ball over, don't have silly penalties, play smart, I feel good that we'll have the type of result that we've come accustomed to the last couple of years. Well, that's true. And I think the same thing holds true for us. So, but like I said, our guys understand the importance of this game. The good thing about it, even if you've never been a part of the Florida Classic, every player on our team knows what a rivalry is. I told them, Coach Carter and I, and Coach Rispers, we were rivals in high school. They went to Rickards, I went to Shanks. That was 25 years ago. We talk about that game today because it's a rivalry. So even if you never played in the Florida Classic, in high school you grew up, you had a crosstown rival, a cross city rival, somebody that you know that it, that week is different. It's different than any other, whatever the case may be. So if you from Jacksonville, Rains Reebok week, it's different. If you're from Miami, Northwestern Central week, it's different. If you're from here, Lincoln Leon week, Lincoln Childs, Godby Rickers, so everybody understands what a rivalry is. It's no different. This one just happens to be the two Division One HBCUs in the state of Florida, where the vast majority of blacks in this state went to one of these two schools. So we understand the magnitude of it, and I'm pretty sure that our guys will handle themselves accordingly and go in and be able to take care of business. So don't want to overhype the game because you don't want them to go in pressing, but we do understand you have to play smart in these type of ball games because emotions will be high. A lot of teammates, guys that play, they have a few players on their team that played here. We have our starting receiver was there last year. So their starting free safety was at FAMU 2 years ago, played for us. Our starting wide receiver was there the last 4 years. And so, yeah, it's, it's an intense rivalry. And their coaches, I mean, we know each other. So, again, it's just one of those type of games that, but you do want to make sure that you're able to control the emotions, play within yourself, and don't do anything that's going to cost the team. In the first 2 years, we did those things and didn't bowl well for us. The last 2 years, we didn't, and we were able to win the game in convincing fashion. I'll get to you in a second. There. Hey, here you don't pull rank here, Chairman Lawson, Congressman Lawson. These faithful, they here every week, so you got to wait your turn this time. There's Al Lawson. Yeah, he walk in here throwing his hand up like he gets the trump. All you faithfuls that's been here every week. No, not at the Eddie Jackson show. Even though he's my homeboy from Gadsden County. Did I say we relax? That was a mistake if I did. So I'm glad you asked that. So a coach didn't get the penalty. The official, I didn't hear him say that, but apparently he said a coach. It was actually a player, but no, you should have came. You should have came for him. That. I mean, if you're gonna be an official, is one thing about an official, you got to have thick skin. Like you got to have thick skin to be an official. First of all, now we as coaches, we're always going to be extra, right? We advocate for our guys. I mean, I've gotten better. Well, let me take that back. I ain't gotten better. I just don't have the need to anymore because Ray Matthews is right there. Between he and Troy Johnson, they give the referee all they want, so I don't have to say a whole lot now. Um, but he threw a flag because of something a player said, and I've heard a lot worse things said to an official than what the player said. He didn't even curse. Like literally, the guy didn't even use a curse word. Now he called him out his name, but it wasn't a curse word. And it's like, I ain't gonna tell you what he called him. Just okay, I'll say this. So the official on the back of his jersey, he's the head judge, so he has an H on the back on his back. He said, "Well, the H stands for a word." He didn't say. I mean, I ain't gonna say the word he used, but so yeah, you'll hear it in another month for Christmas, 3 times from Santa. But and the guy threw a flag. I'm like, really? So we called him that a few more times after that. So, but no, like and so Eddie Jackson, who's the head of officials, so like Troy, Troy got Eddie on speed dial. So during the middle of a game, as soon as something bad happens, if a ref makes an egregious call, Troy picking the phone up, calling Eddie Jackson immediately. Like Eddie Kelly, I'm sorry, not Eddie Jackson, Eddie Kelly. I'm on the one calls Eddie during the game. But no, Troy calls Eddie Kelly immediately. So he called him, told him what and Eddie called the guy a lot worse than what our player called him. He lit into him because you don't call that flag. Like as an official, you gotta have thick skin. And they had just hit our quarterback that we felt out of bounds. I mean, we felt it was a late hit on our quarterback. So clearly, if we're gonna protect anybody on our team, it's gonna be the quarterback. So that's what I tried to tell the ref, like, God, they're just protecting their player. But he was so irate, he wouldn't even listen to me. It was just he had a bad day. I don't know what happened to him before the game, but by the time he got to the game, he was in a bad mood, and he just he was he and his wife might have had an argument before he left the house or something. And so he is strong like me and Eddie. Me and Eddie can wipe and rub that stuff off and go do our job. So I appreciate it. But no, we shouldn't have any of those this weekend. The guys know that we gotta, like I said, we're not gonna beat ourselves this weekend. So I don't think they're good enough to beat us. We're definitely not gonna. Now you guys to see. It's some coaches don't got some pink stuff this week, so we can't make those jokes this week because the ball is officially dropped at a couple of places, and all it takes is one. Everybody starts getting froggy, feeling froggy. So yeah, that we off the chain. Yes, sir. The guys who didn't play in last week's game, will it affect their? Oh well, I mean, no, well, no. So as far as postseason all-star games and things of that nature, stats play a small part in those decisions. A lot of it's based on what the NFL scouts and those how they have them rated. So this was game 10. By game 10, they already have a draft grade. So if Jeremy Moose is going to get an All Star game, he's going to get in it. It's not going to be because he didn't play against the University of Lincoln, right? So um, holding Jeremy, holding uh, General Hunt. With Hunt's got more eligibility left, but holding those guys, it wasn't. I'd much rather that than them play, put up prolific numbers, and then but they're hurt for this week, or they're hurt for that. That would be more detrimental than them not playing Saturday. So like the scouts, when they come in and we had one in this morning, they're gonna look at the games that they're gonna look at the big games, right? They're gonna look at the South Florida game. They're gonna look at the North Carolina game from last year, the Jackson State game. Like, they're gonna look at those games that they feel the competition is comparable. I don't think any NFL scouts gonna turn on the Lincoln game. I really don't. Like I really didn't want to watch the Lincoln game. Like I don't we that was the quickest Sunday post game evaluation ever. We buzzed through it, and we had some little corrections we needed to make about some things, but we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on that game. We wanted to get ready for this week. So again, when the scouts come in, they're very selective about which games they'll watch. So now that game not playing won't hurt. It won't hurt Jeremy's chance to be conference player of the year. It won't help. It won't hurt his chances. Won't hurt. He won't hurt his chance to be player of the year. Won't hurt his chances for an All Star game. So no, that it won't have any impact. Mr. Lawson, great to see you. He was down there trying to call plays. That's why they escorted him out. He felt since we played Lincoln, he can get a headset and really. So we had to call the. One thing for sure, he wasn't gonna do is jump in the fight. We knew that much. We know that much. He gonna be like he's gonna be like that official and back away from it. He wasn't gonna be a part of it. How much do we pay Lincoln? Honestly, I don't have the answer to that. That's more of an administrative question. The West has not been won yet. The West has not been decided. Uh, it's very conceivable that we may not know who we're going to play until the week after this. Um, right now, Prairie View controls their own destiny. So if they beat Alabama State this weekend, then Prairie View wins the West and they come back. If Prairie View loses to Alabama State and Alcorn State beats Jackson State, then Alcorn wins the West and they come. If they both lose, then it's gonna then if Grambling wins the Bayou Classic the following week, then Grambling comes. If they all lose, I don't know what's gonna happen if they all lose. To be honest, I don't know. So I think they're just gonna crown us champs. Like there won't be a game. Yeah, we're just gonna come and have a big cookout, big tailgate, big cookout party, and just let us go to Atlanta because it. But the MEAC is just as wide open. There, yeah, MEAC's still open too. So Howard Howard kind of shocked the world last weekend by beating Central pretty handily. Um, so now they have a three-way tie in the MEAC between Howard, Central, and Morgan State. And so Howard controls their own destiny. They play Morgan State this weekend. So Howard beats Morgan State Saturday, then they're the MEAC champs. If Howard loses to Morgan State and North Carolina Central beats Delaware State, Central's the MEAC champs. If Howard loses and Central loses, then Morgan State's MEAC champ. So we'll know who we're gonna play at some point. It feels good to be the team that ain't got to worry about it this year. I tell you that much. But that's what we talk to our guys all the time about controlling your own destiny. You don't have to rush into the locker room after the game and pick the phone up and see who won. Like we ain't got to do all that. Look, we're good. We're in the game. So, but no, it really is a wild west over there right now, and the MEAX is wide open as it's been probably in about 6 years. So. We'll take care of business on Saturday, and by the time we get in the locker room, we may know. But I I honestly think Prairie View is going to be the underdog this weekend. I think Alabama State's favorite. They got to go to Montgomery. Um, I think Alcorn's going to be the underdog. They got to go to Jackson, and then the Bayou Class is wide open. So we'll see what happens. We may know Saturday, but we may be sitting here waiting another week to determine who we're going to play. Yeah, so I tell you what, last week's game came at a really good time. I mean, we were pretty banged up front going into last weekend, so we rested T.J. Lee, we held a few other guys, and so we're closer to um, full strength. T.J. Lee did practice today, and so we feel good that he'll be ready to go Saturday. Um, Cesar Reyes is still kind of nursing. He got rolled up, so got an ankle sprain Saturday. So he's been battling some knee injuries and some other things. He's just kind of just walking wounded right now. He's just playing through about a lot of injuries. T.J. Demas is slowly coming back. He's nursing a hamstring that he hurt early in the year. Um, Cardell Thomas is still kind of nursing an ankle he hurt early in the year. So we're we're, we're holding on. We're holding on. But I think we'll be I think everybody will be dressing and able to play. How much? I think that's Coach Henry has to be smart in how he does the rotation. So we love for TJ Lee to play the entire game at center. May not happen. We may have to play him two series and rest him a series. And so whether it's TJ Demas or Cesar Reyes, one of those guys may have to go in and play center for us. So, but I mean, we'll have the bodies, but just as far as the how much they can go, that we got to be smart with that. But this team plays a three down front, so it's not and they're smaller probably than they've ever been on defense. Their interior defensive linemen are between 250 and 275. So they don't really have the big 300-pound guys that they've had in the past. Their linebackers are around 200 pounds, both of them. Their secondary guys are 180. So they're not the most physically imposing team that will play. But we know they'll play hard. This is the classic, and so it's going to be a physical game. You just don't have that amount of mass leaning on you as like Alabama A&M. They were big, like they were a more physical football team, and we came out of that one feeling it. That next week. So I think we'll be able to match them up physically, and then obviously with a week to recover between that game and the championship game, we feel good that we'll be able to field a healthy enough team on both weeks to get the job done. Jeremy's fine. Jeremy will be. I mean, he's obviously a little sore, but he's a tough kid, and he'll. I mean, some crazy will have to happen between now and Saturday for him to go. He's gonna be out there. Marcus Riley. Like we have tough kids. Like we have tough young men that battle through injury. Like I said, if you looked at Cesar Reyes' injury report, you'd be like, how is he walking? Like his body's like he should be in here every Wednesday. Like he should be retired, and he's old. His body, he got the body of a old man, literally. Like he's shoulders, knees, ankles, hands. I didn't want to say that. That's what I was thinking. Sound like Eddie. Ed is probably healthier than Cesar Reyes right now. And so, but he's pushing through it and he's playing. So that just shows how tough those kids are. Yes, sir. Game is on ESPNU. ESPNU. Yes, sir. I didn't read the article today. What was it? I know Bowler and Lovey. Yeah. Oh, so Lovey had the teammate who was unfortunately killed when they signed out of high school. But yeah, so we have a lot of guys from that Orlando area. I mean, Kendall Bowler and Lovey were high school teammates at Ocoee. Lovey Jenkins, well, Lovey, Kendall, Johnny Chaney from Orlando, Wekiva, Junior Wekiva, Tevin Griffey, Orlando, Stanley Mentor, Orlando. So yeah, we got over 10 guys from that greater Orlando area that'll be going home this weekend. So it's always good that kind of like we go down to Miami. You got a lot of guys from Miami, a lot of guys from Orlando, a lot of guys from Jacksonville. Like we do a good job in the major cities of bringing guys. But yeah, that was and it was years ago. Obviously, 5 years ago that happened. But that was the tough deal for him. But he's persevered. Love has had his own share of adversity, since he got out of high school. And but he's done a really good job, and he's come here and become one of our leaders. And but those are the success stories that you really look forward to seeing. That when you hear about guys that have really gone through some things and they're able to come out on the other side. He's going to be a college graduate. He's going to play 4 good years of football here. Like he's been counting out a lot in his life, and he's been able to persevere and overcome it. And so that's seeing those guys when they come back, like homecoming. We had a lot of former players on the sideline. Um, that's what you like to see. And I tell people all the time, yes, it's great to see like this season alone. Marquise Bell came back a day after he played on Monday night. Came to our practice and he traveled with us to Texas. Xavier Smith was at homecoming. They had a bye week. Uh, the Browns timed it perfectly. They had a bye week during homecoming, so Zay Smith was on the sideline. Um, well, last weekend wasn't home. Last weekend, I'm sorry. And then Isaiah Land, they just flew back from Germany. The coach played in Germany Sunday. He was at practice yesterday morning. So he landed, booked the flight down to Tallahassee, and he's at practice. He'll be at the Classic. So it's great seeing those guys come back, but it's also great seeing the tens of guys that aren't playing pro ball that are out working and doing great things. Bishop Bonnet, Chad Hunter, Zach Sappho, Doc Lucky, all those guys, Elijah Richardson, like that warms my heart more than seeing Isaiah Land. Because we knew Isaiah Land was going to be a pro. Like that was easy. He just had to not mess it up. But to see these guys that came in and their first time college graduates, I mean, their first generation college graduates, they go off to get good paying jobs, turn their lives over. Like that's why we're 21st nationally in social mobility because of guys like Bishop Bonner and Chad Hunter, who grew up and went to Rains and went to Rickers and didn't have a lot of opportunities coming out, but because of them utilizing the opportunities in front of them, they're not able to live a lifestyle that they can provide for those around them, and that's the ultimate blessing. That's why we love FAMU so much because it's done that for them. It's done that for many of you guys, and that's why this place has been around for 136 years and will be around for a lot longer because of what it does for people's lives like that. So that's a great story, Mr. Moore. Let's put it this way. I'm gonna enjoy it while I have it because I know I won't have it forever. Uh, Look, Eddie reminds us every time he has those senior moments, and I know eventually I'm gonna start having some. So I'm gonna try to be as much of a book of knowledge as I can while I have it. And but no, I just I'm passionate about this place, and I don't think you can really lead a place if you don't know about it, And we spend so much time around these young people, and our number one goal is to see them go off and do great things, So it's easy, like I said, it's easy to follow Marquise Bell. Like a person who just became a Rattler fan is following Marquise Bell. I mean, he's making all of us proud every week with what he's doing with the Dallas Cowboys, But again, the other 99% of the guys that we coach, honestly, are probably going to have a greater impact on this region than Marquise will. Marquise is in Dallas. Like, I don't know how much Marquise can do for the south side of Tallahassee or from Dallas, but they're guys that are graduating that are residing in Tallahassee, in the Panhandle, and they're making differences in their communities. And that's to me, like I said, that's the blessing that sports gives us because the reality of it is most of those guys wouldn't have a chance if it wasn't for football. I mean, we're just being honest. Like I said, the average GPA of the incoming freshman class this year is like a 4.03. You can add two of our guys' GPAs together, it might not be a 4.03. So they ain't getting it, FAMU, if it weren't for their gift to be able to play football. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that we have, um, special acceptance for student athletes, band members, people like that, because that's their opportunity to be able to make a difference. So it's but it's a blessing. It's really a blessing to see those guys, be able to grow and mature. Because I tell you, Isaiah Land today is not he is not the Isaiah Land that came to FAMU in 2018. There were times we didn't know Isaiah Land was gonna make it, like, but he's come such a long way, and he's such a great young man now. And but that's the blessing that giving these guys second chances, some third, some even fourth, fifth, sixth chances is what I feel my ministry is to these guys. I'm blessed to be able to do it. So the plan for recruiting, yes, we do lose a lot. I think we honored 25 of them Saturdays, and probably 10 of them didn't even walk, like for whatever reason they didn't walk. So we'll lose 30 plus guys off this year's team. So we'll be strategic. I don't I don't place a number on portal versus junior college versus high school. Our job is to fill roles with guys who are ready to step into those roles. And so if we look at film, if we talk to the high school coaches, we get to know these young men, and we feel that they're mature enough as an 18-year-old to come in and replace a 6-year senior, we're gonna take that young man. It's not that, oh, we got to get an older guy. No, we got to get a mature guy if we need somebody to play right away. There's some spots we'll need immediate guys to come in and play. The other spots where we'll need some depth. Maybe we got returning starters, so we don't need to really go try to cast a wide net for the big fish to come in and start. We need some guys to come in and provide some quality depth. So all those factors will play a role in how we recruit moving forward. So again, we'll never strictly recruit the portal. We'll probably never strictly recruit high school or junior college. We'll be strategic in how we go about it, but it's based on the need. Some positions, like quarterback. Quarterback's a position where we say, hey, we're losing a starter. We're losing probably the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. So, do we feel like we have a starter behind them? We'll see. If we don't, well, we need to go out and find a starter. If we find us a high school guy who is Eddie Jackson 2.0 and he ready to walk in the door if day one and start at quarterback, then hey, we may take that guy. But that's rare to find a high school guy that can come in and start at quarterback as a freshman. So we just got to be smart and strategic about how we go about it. But we'll have a plan. That's part of that's part of coaching. You never want to be in a situation where you need spots and you don't have them. So our recruiting board is very long, is very vast and comprehensive. And over the next few weeks, we'll really start diving into it and identifying guys that can come on visits during the next couple of weeks, and we'll sign a good class. I have no doubt about it. We'll sign a great class. I just can't tell you whether it'll be from the portal, from high school, from junior college, but we will sign a great class that's going to continue to move this program forward.
Question, the comment is people are scheduling us for homecoming. That's the comment. Question is, and the question is, do you think we will ever have a game in Jacksonville?
So as far as the homecoming scheduling, um, that what I don't know. I don't even know what to think about that. So we make strategic homecoming decisions based on how we feel we'll draw. Because next year, for example, the Southern game is the week before homecoming. We could have very easily made Southern homecoming, but why? That's going to be a heavily attended game anyway. So let's make the next week game a team from Texas homecoming because Texas is probably not going to bring a lot of people. So we try to make strategic decisions. I think that's an emotional decision to make us homecoming. I don't think it's a wise decision, but their powers that be decided they wanted to schedule the Rattlers for homecoming. So maybe they saw all those seniors walking out at senior day and thought that we're not reloading. I don't know, but so good luck to them. But the other question about what was the other one? Will we be playing in Jacksonville? So I'll say this, and we've had some turnover in leadership as far as the ADC, but I've been kind of the constant, so I'm privy to a lot of conversations. Every major city in the South wants us to play there. Every last one of them. Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Tampa, you name it. If it's a major city in the South, they want the Rattlers because they know the Rattlers are going to travel and they know it's going to be a great event. We can't play every game in every major venue. So our schedule is kind of built out through 2029, I believe, with our non-conference slate. Obviously, the SWAC has set our conference schedule through, I think, 2030. So there are not a lot of opportunities for us to play in classic games. There may be one or two, but we don't have the luxury to just go schedule games in all these major cities. Chicago's reached out. Las Vegas even is reached out. Memphis, Dallas. I mean, you name it. Yeah, I'm just looking. I know I said Vegas. That would get them. Nobody say anything about Jacksonville or Tampa. The moment I say Vegas, everybody starts getting crazy. I love our Rattlers, but I tell you. So we just have to be smart about one move because chances are to play those games, we're taking it out of Tallahassee. And so we just got to be smart and we're frank with them. Like, look, if you want the show, you got to pay for the show. Yeah, you gotta pay for the show. And we ain't like the old days are over. We ain't coming for a ham sandwich and a bus ride. Like, no, we're flying and we're walking away with a really, really big check. And so if somebody can commit that, whether it's a sponsorship, whether it's a third party, whatever the case is, we'll listen. But if it ain't that, we're not even listening to that. So the answer to the Jacksonville question, not sure. Um, the team we're playing this week played Southern in Jacksonville this year. We watched the game because we're scouting them this week. I didn't see a packed house. It didn't look like a heavily attended game. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a game that our fans honestly would want. I can't answer that question. But we're gonna make smart decisions fiscally about where we play and who we play. And if they're bringing a check, then we'll entertain it. But if not, it's not. It's a non-starter. And talking about checks, that's about time to bring up Eddie and Selvin. So, know you guys looking forward to this weekend. I'm sure everybody's leaving probably today or tomorrow to head down to Orlando. So be smart, safe travels, and of course we know the class is gonna be booming. And I think we'll have everybody back by Wednesday. I'm sure they'll stay. Oh, Thanksgiving. That's right.
I wanted to meet, but somebody put their foot down.
Uh, well, I'm sure we know who put their foot down and said no meeting on Thanksgiving. So again, we'll see you guys weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody next week, and then obviously we'll see you guys week of the SWAT championship game. So as always, love you guys. Go Rattlers.
Uh, Congressman Lawson, would you bring us up to date on your presentation before the board about Althea Gibson? Yeah, come to the mic. Al, come to the mic.
I'm glad Eddie was able to come today after getting thrown out of the game. Yeah. You know, Althea Gibson, and really it started by Eddie, is the uh, Althea Gibson really, a lot of this started by Eddie because you realize that Althea was the most famous woman to ever live in Tallahassee. I mean, on all corners. And so she has not been properly represented. Uh, so I went before the board of trustees to name Wanish Way from uh, the roundabout to Orange Avenue, Althea Gibson Way. And they voted unanimously to do it. Now, there's only three houses that the attorneys at the university that it would be affected by. And they're talking to those, and there's some homeowners in California. I mean, some property owners in California, some other places that they're talking to about it. But once I found out how Wanish Way got named, if you know, you got uh, Macomb runs into Railroad Avenue, and then Wanish Way. Well, Wanish in the 1950s or 40s was mayor of Tallahassee, and they wanted to name a street after him. So they tried to name it all over town, and everybody rejected it. And so they decided that they would name it over there by FAMU, and nobody said anything. Yeah. And so so if you want to know, Wanish was a Jewish guy, and but nobody in Tallahassee would accept his name on any streets. And so except FAMU accepted, that's how Wanish Way got named all the way down. So no disrespect to Mr. Wanish, but we're going to make someone who is very significant uh, that played here, made the cover of Time magazine. Eddie sent me a whole lot of stuff, just all over the world. That will be named after her ever, and it's going to happen. The trustee voted for it, the university attorney is looking into it. I've talked to the commissioners, and when they get to them, they're going to approve it.
Yeah, they say anything about the statue.
Oh, about the statue, uh, Eddie said he only needed a little bit more money to to do the statue. But you know what would be so good about it is they're going to be, and I'll be working with Ed and a lot of other people. Once we get all of the revenue and able to do it and where it's going to be placed, there's going to be a big event sometime around the first part of the year, and we want everybody to buy into it so that we can raise enough money if there's some family members that you can bring down or to contribute to that particular area. And you'll know well in advance. So you'll be able to come to this event, and then I will work with Eddie. We'll get some corporate sponsors for it because this is a really big deal. I mean, this is Althea Gibson, when they dedicated in New Jersey. I think the president was up there, and I told about that when I gave the presentation. This is so good that FAMU would recognize the contribution of the most, uh, God, I guess, greatest woman to ever live in Air. Because Jay Gaither brought her here as a basketball player. Can you imagine? They brought her here as a basketball player. She excelled in golf and also uh, in tennis, as most of you know. So we'll be coming to everybody, want them to participate. Like I said, Eddie started it, and we want young female women to know what they can accomplish. But under the odds that what she made us accomplish is just unbelievable. During that time when she was here, I mean, it's just incredible. Because fam used to dominate by football and stuff like that. You couldn't imagine uh, somebody like Eddie even making a team, uh, but 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 for what female athletes had to go through, I'm sure Dr. Walker can appreciate this. And so because she was a great uh, what basketball player, and so but it's going to happen, and it's something that will go on for generation and generation to come. Thank you, Eddie.
Okay, Colonel Joe. Colonel Joe, come up, get the mic. Yeah, Colonel Joe. Remember, people, when Colonel Joe is finished, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you. I haven't gotten anybody's permission to say this, but I wanted to have us start thinking about the coach that just was up here for our football, and we've had a tremendous success with our coaches. So if we think about baseball and football and volleyball, uh, tennis, track could just come in. Here's a guy who, based on the performance this year and the year before, is probably going to get an offer from somebody that says that you ought to might want to be here with us instead of being the coach for the Rattlers. And my thought is, and that's why I said just 3 minutes, and I might ask to come up again. We're still trying to raise money, and that's important. That's what we're supposed to do as an organization. But what about us thinking ahead for what could be an offer that he can't refuse? But if we do something to think ahead, to be able to do something for him as a coach might make him again make the decision to go ahead and stay here. The athletic director has and I haven't cleared this with her either. So the point is that the budget's tight and she has to lead us in raising money, and there are a lot of needs. However, if we had been able to think about and come up with a way that we could reward him for the kind of coach and the kind of seasons we've had, he might want to stay with us. I just wanted to leave that thought, and with permission in the future, I'll come up and talk about it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Anybody else? If not, see you in 2 weeks.